Hello, I'm Anton, and welcome to the Idea Fab Lab podcast, episode 6. We're here today with Dana Peters, a multimedia artist. Dana, welcome. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on. I've heard a lot of stuff about you, but I am going to pretend that I haven't for the benefit of anybody watching who maybe hasn't heard about you.
All right.
So let's start with who is Dana Peters? Where are you from? How did you end up as an artist?
All right. I kind of moved around a lot. I was born in California, but then we moved to Colorado and Washington state and Kansas for a long time. Went to college there. I started out in architecture school, and it was connected to the art school by a bridge, and I had to walk through the art department every day, and I was like, oh, I want to be an artist. So then I went to art school. I was like trying to be an architect, but I really wanted to be an artist, and they made it too easy.
You like inceptioned yourself every day. You thought, just not leave this building.
Yep. But I always like linger and like look at the galleries or the little displays of what students were working on, and I was like, oh, I want to do that.
Okay.
So, and it was kind of the last year or a couple of years where they did like handmade models and like drew things out on Mylar. Like it was all going to AutoCAD, and like, I'm not much into tech,
right?
or like computers. I didn't want to be on a screen,
right?
So it's like I really want to make things with my hands and draw things. So so that was like kind of another reason I went into art. Yeah.
And so you said you were born in California. Was it around here in the Bay, or was it like
Southern California?
In SoCal. Yeah. Okay, nice.
That's where my mom's from.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And then, so you went Colorado, Washington, Kansas. Where was it that you were going to architecture school?
Kansas.
In Kansas.
Yeah. Went to high school and college there.
Okay, nice. Did you really like Kansas, or did you happen to see like they have good architecture school, or why?
No. Well, I went to middle school and high school there. So my parents just moved there.
Okay.
And I was grateful because junior high was really hard in Washington State. I was like in a big junior high, and I was like not doing well. Right. Didn't have any friends. I was like, oh my God. And so when she's like, we're going to move to a small town, I'm like, I think I can handle that. Like, I think most kids would be like, no, but I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then we like moved there, and I was like, they don't know I'm a loser. Like, I'm going to be okay. And like, I was the cool new girl, and I got like a second chance at life, and it was like awesome. So
that does sound pretty awesome.
I loved it. Like, it felt really good. I was like, everything was so much smaller and easier. Like the competition was like I could actually be okay at a sport, or like okay in a play. Like I could kind of make it, and it felt really good. Okay. So I'm like all for small towns. I'm like, sometimes I think about moving our family into the country, because I'm like, oh, it's really nice to go to a small school.
Yeah. And you're in Santa Cruz right now?
Yeah.
Or are you? Okay, I wasn't sure if you were in San Jose or someplace.
Yeah, Santa Cruz.
So I grew up here. Nice. And my graduating class was 55 people. So it's not, Santa Cruz isn't that small of a town, but I definitely had some of that same kind of experience.
Yeah.
Like, there's not too many people.
Yeah. I feel like Santa Cruz is a really good community too.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah. So basically you were in Kansas, you like the small town experience, and you're graduating, and you think, I just want more of this in architecture school.
Yeah. High school was really fun. I liked the creative things, art classes. I liked science, so I thought like, architecture would be good. I'm good at like figuring out angles and physics, and I like all that kind of thing, but then I also like art and making things look a certain way. So I thought that'd be like a good combination. I really liked math. I mean, I felt really strong about math. Like I felt confident about it. I liked that like it wasn't subjective. I was like, I got that right. Like no one can be like, I think that's a B. I'm like, no, that was an A+. Like I don't know. I really liked that. Like no one can argue. If you get it right, it's right. And I really liked that about math. You agree?
Yeah, 100%.
Like I really enjoyed calculus. Like I was probably one of the few people, and I like was really proud that I like tested out of it. I was like, well, I need to go to architecture school so I can use that like tested out of calculus credit, because I felt really proud about that.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, I need to like use these math skills, but I ended up not needing any of that.
Right.
I ended up in art school. So I was like, oh, well, that was fun.
Yeah. I loved calculus and then took statistics right after. And I was like, this sucks because you're not right anymore. Now you're probably right. And I was like, the whole thing I liked about math.
Statistics. I think I would have hated it. That sounds hard.
I really liked my teacher, which was the only saving grace.
Nice.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have done statistics and business, and like, I don't know. I'm like very weak in that area. I feel like I should have done that.
Yeah. I have that thought about once a week. I'm like, I should have gone to business school.
That would have helped.
Not for anything in particular, just it would be
life?
cool to say I went to business school.
No, I feel like it helps to have that mindset, like, I'm going to take care of myself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
That's true.
I like am not a practical thinker at all. I'm like, I want to do that. How am I going to do that financially? I don't know.
Right. So you were in architecture school. What year did you transfer into the art school?
Within year one. It was pretty quick.
Oh, it was fast.
Yeah, I think it was a semester. Yeah, a semester in, and I wanted to be in art school.
So you were very easily persuaded to go into art school.
Especially when I saw like all the computers getting lined up with AutoCAD and just like all the people in there like on the computers all day. I was like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like I really loved my idea of what architecture was like building little miniature models and like drawing really straight lines on Mylar. And that was not going to be the case. So I was like, I can't do this.
You wanted to be like the movie architect where it's like, yes, the genius over here.
Yes.
And then you just,
Yeah.
I get
Which I might have been able to make something like that happen. Who knows? But it looked, I don't know, it looked like a lot of being on your computer.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, work with my hands and not have any rules. And that's art.
Nice. And was there any particular medium or style that you said, I really want to focus on this? Or were you just sort of...
I really liked sculpture because I feel like that was a good...
That's sort of like architecture in a way.
So I really liked sculpture. But I also really liked printmaking just because it was very social. Like, I feel like painters and sculptors, they like have their own studio and are like working alone a lot. And then in printmaking, you're like kind of as a team, like you're helping each other make prints together. And whenever I walked past the printmaking area, there's just like a table with everyone sitting around it working together.
Right.
So it just seemed way more social. And I'm, that like works a lot better for me, like being part of a team. I'm really bad at being that like solo artist. No, I'm really bad at that. And I am not self-motivated at all. Like I have to have a goal and a team that I'm working with that I don't want to let down. So I'm like going to give them my all. If it's just for me, I'm like,
Yeah. And just to clarify what you mean by printmaking, so there's an original artwork, and then this is like a smaller copy for shows or things like that.
No, printmaking, they're all original artworks. So it's not like, but it's not like computer printmaking. It's kind of obsolete nowadays. And it's like, it was kind of a big deal in history, the printing press. Yeah. So it's like you make a drawing on a copper plate or a block, and then you print paper on it. But each one is an original. It's not like there was an original that you're making it from, unless you consider the rock or the plate the original.
The plate as original. Yeah.
But that's not really artwork. That's just like the tool you use to make your print. The print is the artwork. So.
And would you make a lot of the same type of print?
Yeah, or you could kind of make each one a little different. I ended up using like the scraps. So I loved that people would throw away the most beautiful scraps when they're working on proofs or editions. So the like recycling bin there had like amazing scraps. And that's kind of how I got into what I do now. It's like sculpture and paper sculpture. So that's how it happened.
And so so you're interested in sculpture, you're interested in printmaking. So, and is that what you stuck with throughout all of art school?
I did. I like majored in both of them. Did I have to declare one or the other? I forget. I think I was able to like take both of them. I think it was just a BFA. So but it was like equal parts sculpture and printmaking. And then like a minor in art history. I really was interested in art history.
Okay.
And studying contemporary art, and I don't know,
Yeah.
all that stuff is really cool to me. So I was like, I'll
Yeah.
throw in a minor.
Yeah, why not? I mean, if you're having a good time,
Yeah.
there's no reason not to. And so what did you do after this? You're now freshly graduated, you're in Kansas. Clearly you left at some point because you're sitting here. So what happened next?
I was drawn to California, so I moved to San
Okay.
Francisco for a bit.
Okay.
It only lasted a year. I was just like waitressing and could not figure out how to like survive and like make art and like
Right.
do all of that. I was just
Yeah.
like waitressing
Right.
and like living in a like utility closet.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like where the washer and dryer should have been.
Yeah.
So
I've had places similar.
Yeah.
Not in San Francisco.
I didn't like do San Francisco right. I
Yeah.
was just like, I give up.
Yeah.
So then I went to grad school in
Oh, okay.
Georgia. Kind of followed a love there.
Ooh.
Yeah. But I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah.
Even though that didn't work out, life worked out.
Right. So what did you go to grad school for? Was it more
Printmaking.
art
It was more
specifically
printmaking, papermaking. So it was like their program had like printmaking, papermaking combo, which was really cool because I was like, oh, I'm kind of interested more in the paper side of things than the print
Right.
side of things. So that was really neat. There was a really good instructor there who taught how to make different kinds of paper, like Japanese papers and book making, book binding. So yeah, just a lot of cool paper art. So I was really able to do more of that
Yeah.
paper sculpture things that I was experimenting with at the time.
Nice. And what was it that made you, what was the plan with saying, I want to do more specific print and paper making? You just thought this is really cool, or did you have like a career in mind as a bookbinder or something?
Maybe a professor.
Oh, you're thinking.
And I did
professor.
teach a little bit afterwards, but
Okay.
yeah, probably professor was where I was thinking. Or if I was really lucky, just a represented artist at a gallery who could live off of selling her artwork. Those are like the two things.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you followed a love to Georgia. You go to grad school. So now you're done with grad school.
Yes.
What happens now? You said you taught for a little while.
Yeah, I taught in Kansas. I went back to Kansas for a while, and I taught at the university there. And where else? What did I do after that? I think after that, I had a really good friend. When was that? I had a friend who had a show in Seattle, and that was really fun. And she got a professor job, like an adjunct professor, or like a sabbatical replacement job. But then she got another job, so she's like, oh, you should hire my friend. So she kind of hooked me up with this job at CSU Stanislaus, which is between Modesto and Merced.
Yeah.
So that's what got me out here.
Gotcha.
And my mom happened to live in Santa Cruz. She like discovered Santa Cruz, so we all are grateful for her. She was the one in our family who was like, look at this place. Isn't it neat? Sorry, I don't know. I was like,
I don't know. Don't be sorry. It is neat. And
I was like, that's
Disney
Little Mermaid.
references,
But I'm
always welcome. No problem. I heard it
I have
immediately.
little girls now.
Yeah, I
It's
understand.
unavoidable.
So, what was your job at CCU Stanislaus while you were
It was
there?
really cool. So they gave me 4 classes and a ton of freedom. They were like, do what you want. And so one of them was, I think it was like introduction to 3-dimensional art.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, so that was really fun. But they let me like design all the projects. And then digital media and art, and that was more of like studying art and writing essays, but those was really fun. Contemporary art theory, that was like a senior class. And then some kind of mixed media contemporary art studio class where I just got to like introduce a lot of different types of art, and especially kind of art that maybe they hadn't done yet, like using video in your art, or installation or performance.
Okay.
And then a lot of collaboration. So that class was like a lot of freedom.
Yeah,
And
that sounds cool.
yeah, so we did like a professor-led installation performance where they kind of worked in this thing that I kind of orchestrated, and then they had more individual or small group exhibition of just really anything, like, but kind of installation art or performative or interactive art. Yeah, that was like, yeah, probably it was like a challenging, because we were like taking, it was ambitious, but like really fun. Like the things that came out of it, I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like those were really, I'm still like really good friends with some of the students who are like teaching now too. And I'm like, cool. Oh, that was awesome. Like really cool work came out of that.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. Yeah. And then they had let me lead a summer program where we did like trips to San Francisco and LA.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a little wild.
Cool. Yeah.
I don't know, like leading young, I mean, they're not like teenagers, but like 19, 20, 21. Yeah, young kids to like big cities. It was like, whew, but it was really fun. We like went to really cool museums and different like real working artists who I'd met through my grad school experiences or shows that I'd been in. I got to like reach out to them and be like, hey, can we visit your personal studio? So we like got to, go. It's kind of like an excuse for me to be able to see inside these cool artist studios and how they made it in a big city and showing at these big galleries. And it was like really, really fun. So that was like my first kind of taste of what a professor career would look like.
Okay. How long did you do that for?
That was just a semester and then a summer.
Oh, wow.
And then I moved here. Oh, yeah. So that was during the week. And then during the weekends, I would visit Santa Cruz because my mom was here. And I was like, I kind of like this place. Let's check it out. And so then I kind of fell in love with Santa Cruz. And so I didn't really have a plan or a hookup with UC Santa Cruz. That'd be awesome. Yeah. But I was like, I'm just gonna move there and see what happens.
Okay.
And I just started volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club at their art area. Yeah. And then the woman who ran that was like, I'm leaving. Do you want to take my spot? And I was like, cool. So I was the art director of the Boys and Girls Club downtown for a while after that. Yeah. And that was really fun. It's so different. Just
it's definitely a different vibe than some of the other places.
So free, like there's not as much of an agenda. It's like they're so wild and free. Like kids are just like, I don't know, and they're fast. They move fast, and you're like, whoa, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's go this direction. Yeah, like the things that would take off would always surprise me. Like the kids just wanted to make. I don't know. I must have had a project that was maybe making food art, making food, or making,
like edible art, basically.
No, like the opposite. It's like art that looks like food, not edible.
Okay, I see.
And that took off. Like they started to make restaurants, and then they had a bank, and then they had it like just took off. And then they had robbers who would rob the restaurant, and then the police had to arrest them. And I'm like, whoa! And they had to like shut it down because it got like awesome. Too big. And I was like, that was incredible.
Suffering from success.
And it all started from this like amazing food art that they started making, and they're like, well, we have to serve it, and they just got so into it. And I was like, wow, like it just things like accelerate really fast because they're not like doubting themselves and like slowing themselves down by like thinking about it, or they're just like go. Yeah. So it was just fun to see that like energy. Yeah. And I'm like, whoa. And then me trying to keep up with them, but like trying to show them examples, but like not do too much because it's like, well, you think about how you would want to do that, and it would make me work differently, like looser and faster.
Right, because you got to keep up with the kids. Yeah.
So it was like very different from anything I had ever done, and it was really fun. And like my first time working with kids that young. Besides like I had like nanny babysitting gigs, right? But like working with a whole class, and like it was like I don't know, really psychological, because it's like when you're like talking to kids, you're also like reparenting yourself or something. So it's my first time like being like, whoa, like I want to. And so you talk to kids in a certain way, like you wouldn't be, that's not good enough. Right. And you realize, wow, but my inner dialogue's pretty rough and tough. Like I'm pretty tough with myself. Yeah. So I'm like, maybe I should talk to myself like I'm talking to them. Right. Because it seems to be helping them open up and be creative. Like maybe I should start talking to myself like that. And it was like this, whoa. Yeah. And actually like the yeah, the teacher who kind of like I was subbing for and she left, she like, yeah, kind of imparted some, theories and things about that. I don't know, just kind of opened me up to thinking about art and reparenting yourself and using creativity as a way to like heal yourself. And I don't know, it was just really beautiful to see that. Yeah.
And how long ago was that you moved to Santa Cruz?
Oh, 11 or 12 years ago, or maybe 11. Yeah.
Okay, so like 2012-ish.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah. And you said you were at the Boys and Girls Club for some time. How long was that?
Not too long. I think I think 2 years. And then it was kind of because I was working there regularly, and then I was just kind of slowly faded away. And then they would have me come back for like they hosted a big, I'm not sure what it was called, but like this big the regional art exhibition where they'd have all the Boys and Girls Clubs of the United States send in artwork, and they'd have a show. And so they like called me in to lead things like that. So it was kind of, like my role there changed. But
Cool.
And then,
And then what did you do? You said it gradually faded away.
Yeah, that started fading away, and I started doing, I just did like a lot of different things. Like I worked with the people at the MA to do, like I did a project there with my Boys and Girls Club students. We did like an installation there in the stairway. That was paper art that they made messages on. It was called Moments of Transcendence, and it was about like times in your life that changed you. And so the kids would draw pictures or write stories, and then I would cut it up and make it part of this big installation that goes up the stairs at the museum. And then I did some Cabrillo extension classes with different ages, so kids, and then also any age human.
Because Cabrillo's kind of a wider variety.
Definitely. And that was really fun. I hadn't taught at an extension program where it's not about grades. So it's just like, I just want to do this for fun. And people are there because they really want to do it. It's not like they need a credit. They're not like, oh, do we have to? They're like, cool. So that was really fun. Like there wasn't like this pressure or like, I don't know, that stress of having to grade people or judge people or how hard did you work on this? Like grading art is really not fun, but it's like something you have to do as a teacher. And I don't know, it's like, oh, I hate this.
You're like, you put your soul into this. How am I going to give you a B minus? That's so, I
hated that. So that was really nice about Cabrillo, that it was just for fun. And I really liked that. And I got to meet a lot of people through that. And then I had my own studio right here in this building. And that was like the best.
And where was that? Was that like literally this room that we're
Eventually, we had a smaller room down the hall. Across from the Blitzer Gallery.
And when was that you moved in here?
I don't remember exactly, but
like 2016,
15, 16,
something like that.
And it was just a studio with my best friend, who is my mom's neighbor. My mom was responsible for all of this. Obviously, she gave birth to me. Then she found Santa Cruz, and then she found my best friend.
She was just helping you out the whole time.
She's like, here you go.
Does she still live in Santa Cruz?
My best friend, Lee, she moved to Colorado. So, but she and I had a studio, and then eventually we were like, let's make it into a gallery. And so we opened it into a gallery and called it the Art Cave.
The Art Cave?
The Art Cave.
Nice.
It's be like, a man cave or a woman cave.
I was totally thinking. Like
that's kind of like just the place you want to hang out and make art.
Love that.
It was really nice and really experimental at first. We did I really love figure drawing also, but I've never figured out how to get that into like the art I like to show, because I haven't figured out how to like have my voice in figure drawing, because it's just like photography, it's really hard to have like a really unique look, because it's like representational and it's been done a lot. Like I feel like my abstract art is a little easier to be like, this is me. This is my style. But I love figure drawing. If I could ever figure out a way to like make that part of my look somehow, or like or do it in a way that hasn't been done before,
Right.
then I would. But it's always something that I am working on the side. So when we started the Art Cave, we had figure drawing classes.
Okay.
And yeah.
Nice.
Really, our first one was like a mother and baby. So it was like really cool, like to see that and to set up that scene. And yeah, it's really nice. So we started out with kind of classes and things, and then had shows.
Okay.
And that is when I met all the artists of Santa Cruz. I feel like that's when like the world opened up. Like, whoa. Like I knew Santa Cruz was creative, but I was like blown away.
There's a lot.
So many artists and so cool. Like I kind of thought it was all beach art, like when I moved here.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the first thing you see when you walk past shops and things. You're like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But there's like so many artists who do so many different things, and like young artists, and obviously you see SCs here, so there's like student artists and artists who've been doing it for years and decades, and artists who, you know, are big time and sell their art in the city or around the world. And it was like a world I didn't know until we had a gallery and we put open calls out, and we're like, whoa, that was probably like the funnest thing, is to like go through like and like be like, oh, they want to show their work here. Like it was like so exciting seeing artwork come in from people. That was like so cool.
So and at this point, are you doing art full time? Like, is this your job, or are you still doing,
what am I doing,
like teaching on the side?
I think I was maybe still doing Boys and Girls Club a little, and Cabrillo.
Okay.
And then we were really trying to make the Art Cave a business, but it was really something that kind of broke even. I think we succeeded in eventually maybe breaking even. Right. Maybe. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Lee, my friend, she'll probably call me back. No.
Yeah.
Fact check. No.
Leave a comment.
Yes.
And be like, no, actually.
No. Lee Erickson. Everybody should check her out. She was my partner in all this. And the Art Cave, and we met amazing people. That was like probably the most fun in art I've ever had, is like the Art Cave, because it was like we were making art in our studio, but at the same time we were organizing a show each month, so it was all hand in hand. Like we kind of would have a theme in mind, and so we're making art that kind of fits the theme, but then we're also getting art from people who are really good at that already, maybe, you know. So it's just like, ooh, and then like curating it and hanging it all in a way, like it was so much fun. Like, oh, look at the way my art looks next to that artist's work. Like, this is so cool. Like, it was so fun to like that was an artwork in itself. It's just like curating these shows and figuring out how to hang it all. And I had gallery experience at like the schools I taught at in grad school, like like hanging shows and things, but doing it where I get to like choose all the artists and decide the theme of the show and the title and make all the promotional material was pretty fun. If I could have made a living doing that, like, I don't know, I might still be doing it. But it was kind of hard to like keep doing after I got like pregnant and COVID happened.
Gotcha. Okay. So the
COVID.
I'm glad you said that, because that's a good I guess anchor for everyone to think, oh, I know exactly when
when that was. Yeah.
So this lasted until 2020.
Yeah.
And then some variety of you getting pregnant and COVID happened both in 2020.
Yeah.
I don't need the details on that. I'm familiar with the rough outlines of both things.
Yes. A lot of babies happened during that time.
I mean, it wasn't anything else to do.
No.
No. If I'd been living with a partner, I'd be like, I also have a 3-year-old, and that's how we met. We have, daycare together or something. So the Art Cave isn't really feasible due to circumstances. So
just energy too. Like it's a lot of energy, and to think of starting a family and doing that, even though it was like amazing and I loved it, just wasn't practical at all. But if it ever becomes an option again, I would love to do it. Like, I really liked it. It was really cool. Just the people, the artists we got to meet. It was just like my mind was blown every month. Just like, wow.
That sounds cool.
That was really fun. I know, right? Like you just get to meet people all the time. And it was really, that was really fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what if anything, did you do during COVID, particularly during the first year, I would say, when it was like the most shut down?
I feel like just pregnant. Just pregnant and sick.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, yeah, just morning sickness. That's all I remember. And I did work on art that was more personal.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was
not like
cool.
for display.
Yeah. Yeah. Just for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should mention through all this, we had my partner and I, who I met around the same time I moved to Santa Cruz. We got a dog, and she was the best studio dog ever. And she was like the face of the art cave. Her name is Gidget.
Gidget?
Yeah. She was amazing. And I was going to say that was another reason why it was like the best experience ever, was she was the host of the art cave. And I was actually a pretty shy person. And so like usually something like hosting an art show would be like terrifying.
Right.
But literally she would make it like effortless, because people would walk in and just like she'd just roll over and be like, hit my belly.
Yeah.
So like, see, people aren't scary, they're nice. And
yeah.
Like, okay. Yeah. And everyone was like, how's Gidget? And so she like really took the pressure off, like photo ops, like, oh, here's my dog. Like, I hate taking my picture, but like with her with me, I was like, she was so great. So that was like a big part of it. And I just wanted to mention her before I moved on, I guess, because I was like, those are my Gidget years. Yeah. I need to talk about that. Yeah. And then, more personal stuff. Dog walking. Yeah, there we go. This is all coming together.
Yeah.
Still did dog walking during all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like professionally or just because you had a dog?
No, professionally.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're like, what were your side gigs? And I'm like, oh, what were they? Dog walking them. And so Gidget, she was my studio. She was my work partner. Right. Lee and Gidget were my work partners. Right. Gidget would host gallery shows with me, and we'd walk dogs together because she was always part of the pack.
Of course.
And there we go. That was what happened during that era of my life.
Yeah. That sounds like it'd be tough to do while pregnant, unless it was like just at the beginning.
Yeah, just at the beginning.
Especially as you got like second, third trimester.
Yep. No, we had like, because to carry all the dogs, we had like pit bulls and labs. We had like these kind of harnesses that go around our waist. Yeah. And I was like, this is getting dangerous.
It's getting very tight. Yeah.
Because you can't hold that many dogs with your hands. You have to like have them strapped to your body. So I would just like wear it really low around my hips and be like, oh God. But eventually I had to be like, can't walk dogs anymore.
Yeah.
Because we walked really big dogs that needed like a lot of exercise. It was so much fun. Go dogs. Yeah. Check out Go Dogs if you need a dog walker. And a really good friend of mine, who's still a good friend, Danny Maiden, she was running it at the time. And so it's run by completely different people now, but I'm sure it's great. It was so awesome. I loved being a dog walker. Yeah. It was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny because my sister actually started walking dogs as well during COVID, because it was like, I gotta get out of the house.
And it's a really good COVID job.
It pays shockingly well for how fun it is.
Yes, exactly. It's like, really, really fun. Yeah. And you're exercising, you're like, this is so good for me.
Yeah, it's just everything is great, and it's paying, like I do this for free, and they're also paying me.
It was a really good job. I liked it a lot.
So you did that until you got too pregnant, and then at some point
had a baby.
A child is born.
Yes, a child is born.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Yeah. And I kept thinking I'd get back into art more heavily, and I kept trying to like figure that out. Had like a nanny. Every time I'd like, I don't know, try to like, oh, maybe I'll try to get a studio outside the house again. Or I tried to volunteer at, what's it called? Marine rescue. They rescue sea lions and otters.
Oh, I know what you mean.
I did that for a couple of weeks or maybe a couple months. I was like, I need to pursue other passions besides motherhood. And every time I tried to do something like that, my heart would just be broken. I'm like, what am I doing?
Like, where's my baby?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh, never mind. Like, I can't. So it's been like, mom mode, and making art for personal reasons in my garage. It's more like what I'm comfortable with right now.
Okay. So that's been sort of the status quo for the last 3-ish years.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was much easier with one kid. Yes. With one daughter, Sylvie Marin, I was still like able to make quite a bit of art for
Right.
shows, and I have really great art friends like Jordan, who probably introduced us.
Yeah.
Who's always like, hey, be part of this or be part of this show, and Rachel, who you guys have interviewed, Human Shaped Animal, and my friend Sarah, who you guys should interview, Sarah Bianco.
Okay.
She has
Get her in touch with
yeah.
Jordan.
She has a gallery at the Tannery Art Center, and
Oh,
so
nice.
they're always like, hey, be part of this. So like I haven't been really active in like pursuing opportunities, like applying for shows. I'm just kind of like have awesome friends who keep me connected. I'm like,
Right.
hey, show here, have a show here.
Yeah.
So I was able to like show quite a bit of art, and
Right.
yeah, for a while I have like a lot of pictures of me taking my daughter to art shows.
Right.
And the second daughter came around, and I was like,
Yeah.
I can't leave the house, or like if I leave the house, it's going to be to go to a park or a beach.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I can't take a shower or put on makeup. Like,
Yeah.
I just
Shower
can't.
with one hand while holding
Exactly.
the baby.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not happening. It just felt more of like the mind space more than anything. Like I
Right.
just can't. Yeah, too many moving parts.
Right.
So it was really, I got more centered into my garage.
Right.
And I did participate in open studios for the first time in a long time. Because of that, I was like, well, I guess I could show people my garage.
Yeah.
So I did that, but it felt really awkward to like have people come to your home.
Right.
I'd done open studios when, oh yeah, I didn't mention, but the art cave eventually was in this exact space that we are sitting right now,
Right.
which is really cool.
Yeah.
So we had open studios here, which felt really nice. Like, this is my spot and this is my art,
Right.
but it's not my home.
Right.
I don't
There's
know.
some separation
Yeah,
still.
having people come to my home was a little like some were people were just neighbors. Like, I've always wanted to see what it looked like back here, and I'm like, oh,
That's
like
weird,
I know. I was
guess.
like, it's about my art.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. So that, I don't know. I'm like, I don't think I'd want to do that again. I think I'd want to be like a guest artist here or at the Tannery.
Right.
Yeah, if I were to do something like that again, or start showing at galleries elsewhere more. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like. Think yeah, I'm just maybe a little more like to keep things private these days.
Right. You're like, this is my house.
Yeah.
I'll meet you somewhere else.
Things are just really intimate and private
Yeah.
these past couple of years. So
Yeah.
it's probably is really natural for new parents and
Yeah.
starting a family.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yep.
And you mentioned that you're mostly doing art for yourself, but then you also mentioned that you're still doing some shows in the open studio.
Yeah.
So how, when you're creating a piece of art, and I'm always curious how
Yeah.
artists go about starting art, because I don't view myself as particularly creative,
Yeah. Yep.
particularly when faced with like the blank page. I'd never know where to start. So
The hardest part.
yeah. So in your mind, what was the difference between a piece of art where you're thinking, I'm doing this for me, versus a piece of art where you're thinking, maybe I'll show this, or maybe it'll go in
Yeah.
a gallery?
I guess when I have a show in mind, I like to have some amount of confidence that I'll be able to create the work. So
Okay.
I'll stick more in my comfort zone
Okay.
and be like, oh, I know how to make this. I'll make something like this or many things like this.
Right.
So a lot of my abstract art is paper art that's based off of a past project, that's based off of that, that's based off of that, which I feel like it's a really nice way to create a unique body of work. Is like the more
Yeah.
you create art that's based on your art,
Yeah.
like it just becomes more
More you.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah intrinsic. And yeah, so my art for shows and stuff is kind of like that. Like it sticks within this comfort zone,
Right.
and I reuse a lot of materials, so it feels really good. Like I don't have to start at a blank canvas because I have all the
Right.
material there, and I have scraps from my past project that I can mix for this new project, or I can use the negative shapes from that project to create something else.
Oh, okay.
Which
See.
is really, I really like
That
doing
is
that.
cool,
Yeah.
yeah.
So a lot of my pieces are like portals, or they
Okay.
kind of look like caves. But then the inside parts of those are really fun to do, like, yeah, more sculptural things.
Okay.
Or collage.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, it's like, I love the scrap. I've always loved scraps, like, 'cause it's, yeah, like collage or whatever you find in the dumpster. It's like, it solves the blank canvas problem.
Yeah. In a way, I've heard a lot of creatives talk about that limits can sometimes be really helpful.
Definitely.
So if you're saying, well, I'm working with this stuff, now what can I make?
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Much
to me.
easier. And then when it's personal, it's more about the meaning and not necessarily how I'm going to make it or choosing a way that I'm comfortable with. So it's like, I feel very strongly about my baby. I'm going to make art about my baby.
Right.
And I don't care how.
Yeah.
Like, and that's going to be very hard to do with a paper
Right.
diorama about portals. Or
Right.
a lot of my portals, I'm like, that could be like birth related.
Sure. Yeah.
But I wanted it to be like a little more literal and representational.
Right.
Which I've told you I always had trouble like figuring out how to have a voice in that like figure drawing or representational paintings and drawings. Like I'm
Right.
like, how does that look like the rest of my work?
Right.
But when I do things that are personal, it's usually like a portrait of someone or my family,
Right.
or a painting that includes that. So one of my most personal ones that was like a COVID thing was, I guess I had two kind of personal ones during that time. One, they're really long term, so they're really stretched out, and they're meant to be that way. Like, I don't have to finish this for 3 years.
Right.
And then by the time I ended, I was like, whoa. When I started this painting, I wasn't even married. And then I finished it, and I am married with a child. Like, so that was like a really long painting, and it was really cool to see like how I was obsessed with like my relationship and my husband. It's like about romance, or so like my husband and I, but then by the end it's like life and death and a baby, and like so it just had like everything. And I was like, whoa. When I started that, it was like a very traditional portrait of like two lovers or something, like it was just like a portrait of us standing next to each other. Then it kind of morphed into all these other things.
That sounds awesome. I would love to see a picture of that at some point.
Definitely. I know that would be
If
fun
you-
to
if you
share.
have
No,
one.
I'll share it.
Yeah.
I'll let you include it in if you can.
You don't have to share with them. Forget about these guys, but I want to see it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It was, I really liked that one. But then I tried to like repeat it because I was like, I love this. I want to make more like that. And then I hated the paintings that followed because I was like trying to make the same thing happen, but it couldn't. Like, it needed that long unfolding.
process,
And then when I tried to like copy the look that resulted in it, it just came out flat and I don't know, just not the same at all, which was a bummer. But I'm like, maybe that's just not meant to be repeated. It just was like a one-off thing.
Well, it's interesting because, at least for me and a lot of people I've spoken to, the COVID years, we changed a lot, like as a society, and expectations, and DoorDash got more expensive, and like a bunch of ways, big and small. So what it sounds like to me almost is that painting you did was a collaboration piece with different iterations of yourself.
Definitely.
So it makes sense to me that if you then tried to replicate that with only your current self, you're just missing your other selves in it, so it just wouldn't be the same. That sounds really fascinating.
Forced and less complex and less that different versions of myself communicating to each other. And a lot of the painting was about time and like my husband had told me a story about how he looked down at a leaf and was like, remember this leaf? And I was like, oh my god, I did something similar to that when I was young, like just be able to time travel to this exact moment. And like so I like put a drawing of a leaf, and I don't know, there's just a lot of things in it that was kind of about how like you'll never be able to know all about someone else. You're just like intersecting and like a kind of like a Venn diagram, and there's only a small part of you that's like shared with them, and then there's this whole other part of you, like you were saying, like just versions of yourself that and some of them intercept with other people in other lives, and or children or dogs or and then there's a different version of you 10 years later. And so that kind of got into that painting because it took so long. And that was the person I already talked about, Sarah Bianco. That was like a project, and Rachel, the three of us. We it was called like the long-term relationship project. It was like something we gave ourselves, like, let's have a long-term relationship project, and it's not for anyone but ourselves. And all of them turned out really cool.
That does
like I love what they came up with during that time too. And there's just no pressure, and it felt really good. And I feel like I should always have something like that going. I kind of do, but not happy with the current kind of large. I think I need to do something completely different. I think the fact that I'm trying to do another giant painting is just like feels like a ripoff.
A ripoff of yourself.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. Like maybe I needed to make something completely different.
Yeah.
So it feels more authentic or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you brought in some of your art. Since we're pretty much caught up,
yeah.
Would you mind showing us some of what you have? And we could start with the one that's been in frame the whole time for the eagle-eyed viewers.
This little lighting piece here.
Yeah, tell us about that if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, a lot of my sculptures are made with this cut paper that kind of looks like hair or scales. And this one is part of like a series called Moon Blossoms. They're kind of like these orbs. I kind of think of them as eggs or bellies because I was pregnant at the time.
Right.
And I was actually invited back into this space to be part of this really cool show. These walls can be like reformed. I don't know if you've seen the shows where they make 4 different corners. So you like walk around the room and each corner is a different artist installation.
No, I haven't seen that. I have seen these walls moved around, but not.
Yeah, maybe it's just one time, but they did a show where each artist had like a quadrant of the room. And so you'd walk through the room and there'd be something completely different, a completely different vibe in each corner. Yeah. And so mine had many of these lights. There was one really giant one and the medium-sized ones and small ones. And it was when I was really pregnant, so I kind of matched the artwork.
You wanted things to sort of
be round like
round
me.
And yeah.
And so it was like an interactive piece where it was called Messages to the Womb Dweller.
Okay.
And there were like scrolls hanging from the wall that people could write messages to the little human inside of me. Yeah. And draw really cool pictures. So people drew these fun pictures like this is what the world's like and just really funny things. And I drew a picture of like a baby and like this eggshell rocket ship flying to Earth and like just like really fun things. Like we were talking to this, I don't know, kind of like an alien who hasn't arrived yet or something. Like this is what the world's like, we're excited to see you. And it was really like more special than I could have imagined it because I forget the artist's name, but there was also another artist in my area who did this really cool, you might know them, like this chandelier out of hanging plants kind of.
Oh, that sounds cool. Yeah. That sounds familiar actually.
And they're like, oh, she'd look really good with your work. And so she was in my zone and we made this huge like lounge area. And so it was like a party, an art party, but our area was like the really, let's have deep conversations and relax, which is really my vibe. Yeah. And I'm like, and write these messages to this baby inside her stomach. Yeah. Like, so it was just like really special and like friends who I hadn't seen in a while because of COVID and baby number 1. Right. I was like seeing for the first time in a long time. And I was just, it was like very just deep and special and meaningful and like, like a celebration. I like rented a dress for the occasion because I was like, I want to like make this a big deal. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like I didn't make a big enough deal about my first baby, my COVID baby. Right. Because everything is kind of like, isolated and weird. So I was like, I want to make this like a party for my baby.
Just don't tell your first baby about it. I know. Like, so what did you do for mine? Like we didn't do anything.
I did make really cool laser cut dresses for my maternity dresses for my first baby. So I was like, I think that was like a cool thing I did for her. Yeah. Like you inspired a lot of things too. Yeah. And she made it into that painting that was really special. Oh, okay. My second one still isn't in that painting. I need to maybe work her in there somehow. I don't know.
You got a few years. So it'll be fun.
But that was really fun, and it just felt so warm and welcoming to be invited back by Jordan and Rachel to be part of something like that. And I was like, on the other side of the wall was Rachel and her work, which is like really bright and colorful and like graphic, and so like mine was like this kind of warm womb like space, and then hers was like bright and I don't know, just more colorful. And so like the two side by side looked really, really cool.
Yeah, that sounds really striking. Yeah. Maybe too striking, give you whiplash. Like, what am I doing here?
I love that. Like kind of that scene in Batman, like Penguin. There's no Two-Face.
Oh yeah, Two-Face.
Where he's walking through his house and it's like half this way, half this way. That's what it felt like.
Okay.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, that does sound cool.
Yeah, I mean that was a really cool concept they have. So I was like really grateful that they thought of me to be one of the 4 artists. It was really fun. And that I got to like incorporate my life. Like, I don't know, a lot of times becoming a mom, you're like, that was my art life. This is my mom life.
Right.
And so it was really neat to be able to like figure out something that felt like it was equally both things.
Right.
Like it's my identity as a mom and life. Art. Yes, my art mom life. Yeah. So that felt like some kind of initiation, like art mom life. Here we come.
Nice.
Yeah. But that was before baby 2 was born. Right. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm not sleeping at all.
Yeah.
So then my projects became a little smaller, like figure studies of their feet and fun things like that.
Yeah.
And like a lot of portraits of, them and my dog and baby books. Like that feels like like those feel like artworks to me, just drawings and pictures of them. But if I don't know, I feel like I really want to make more things like that, like the Womb Dweller show, right? Where it feels like I'm not having to ignore one side of me. I get to be both. An artist I really like who does that, Ginny Seville. She's like a big time artist, she does pretty traditional thing, like drawings on paper, paintings on paper. But just the way she has that voice, like she has a voice in her medium. And I'm like, oh, like, I love that. And it's about motherhood, but it's universal. It's like anyone can, I don't know, really relate to it when you see it. It's just so, it's amazing. And I'm like, oh, like I love that, but I can't just like do that. I need to do my own thing, but like, really am inspired by artists like that who are like really authentic in their work. And they're not ignoring any part of who they are. They're like working with it, and you can see it, like that's them. Very cool. Trying to figure out the new version of myself.
What is Art Mom, but this time with 2 kids? What is that?
Yes, that's a new, exactly. And I've been like dabbling in photography.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where that's going to end, but it's like, I've been doing like maternity. I did a birth photo shoot, like a baby being born.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, that was wild. That was really hard because it's really, really on call, which is really, really hard as a mom to be like, any second, I'm going to figure out where you and you go. And I'm going to just, So I'm like, I don't think I can do that for like a while. But I like the idea of being creative and also being in the birth or motherhood realm in some way, because it's really magical. And that's always like what I search for, I think. Like art is magic. That's like where magic happens. But then also having babies, it's really like, and I really like that feeling of like you're in a whole other world all of a sudden, like just other dimensions open up and you're like, that's incredible. I had no idea that was possible. And I feel like my abstract work, I kind of try like, it's like a portal to this other space, whether it's like inside of you or or being born and turning into something else, another version. But I really want to get more literal, like be able to have that kind of imagery, but more representational, like people or just a little bit more representational somehow. And I haven't figured that out, whether it's using actual people, like performing, painting on bodies. I don't know. Like, I really don't know what it is, but I want the human body to be more of a part of my future work. And my family.
Cool. Right.
Just
well, they do have human bodies.
Yes, so that should work.
Probably make that.
That should work.
Make that work. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And did you have any other art that you wanted to show us?
Yeah. This is good.
yeah. We can see. Yeah, great. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So,
it looks cool.
Yeah.
That's all I know about it.
And you can actually see, like, these are prints from a long, long time ago. So every once in a while, I'll, like, open my flat file and be like, oh, I don't like that anymore. Let's throw it in here. So, and this is a laser cut. So this is really when I got to know Jordan really well at Idea Fab Labs. And actually, that was through this really cool program called the Scrap program, which makes sense. I like scraps.
Right.
And they had a show at the Blitzer Gallery, and they you got free membership to the Fab Lab to make art and free access to the city dump. Yeah, to get all your materials. And so yeah, I used the laser cutter to cut paper that I had found there, and from the Boys and Girls Club. Nice. I worked at the time, so kids would throw away their art. Oh, I don't like it, and I would be like, cool. Yeah. So some of my artwork have like awesome like smiley faces and stuff. Not this one in particular, but like, oh, that was that kid's drawing that they didn't like. And look at it now; it's still here. Yeah. So I really love that. It's like a quilt. Like you see different. Each layer has like different drawings. That's right. Really cool. And that's really that kind of makes sense. Like I love things that are really personal and family and have a lot of history in them. And you don't just start from a blank canvas. You have the pieces already there. So I really love making these because you just stack a lot of paper that you have and you put it through the laser cutter, and then like the fun part is you get to like create the different color combinations by like working out different layers, which is really fun because I used to be really intimidated by color because I'm like, I don't know, like, I don't know. So doing that, like working with colors in this puzzle like way. Yeah. And sometimes I make little mini ones that are like this small, and I'll have like 20 that I'm working on at once, and I'll be able to like make these different, completely different color combinations that I would never have dreamed of if I didn't have like a million options in front of me to just, and there was no like cost of time or material. Like I'm not wasting a bunch of paint or a bunch of, I don't know, bronze or whatever material you make art of. Like it's just a ton of paper that's already there, and you're just like, so it just felt really free to just be able to do that and experiment really fast like that. Right. And then like the larger ones take a while, and making the custom frames, I kind of worked with like making the frame look like part of it, but some of them are framed more traditionally. Okay. I have some that are different shapes. Should I bring the round one over there?
Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. Yeah, I would love to see more. And I'm sure it's not just me. Anybody watching will say, oh yes, please show us another thing.
Okay, these are like bigger ones. This is one left out of 5 that I did that are like large circular ones.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Looking. So I worked with like trying to get it out of like traditional frame. Yeah. And they're kind of like caves, or like just, I don't know, I kind of think of any kind of portal, like your eyes are portals, like just something that you go from one world to another, or one outer space to an inner space. And it's just what I think of when I make these.
Yeah, this one sort of reminds me of like a jungle, like in a movie where there's, you're in your
looking
normal
through
space.
All the leaves.
You look through, and then you walk through to a clearing into some other.
And that's the fun part with color, is some of them have completely different feels just based on color. Yeah. So like they're the same kind of shapes, but then like if you do it in like hot pink and orange and yellow, then it's like you're looking through fire instead of a jungle. So that's really fun that like just color can change the feeling and meaning, but like that the viewer gets when they look at it. Yeah.
And this is also all with a laser cutter. Is that like the tool that you used most?
Laser cutter. I have used their CNC router for making certain frames. Okay. And things, but laser cutter, paper. Yeah. I also made these kind of shapes with canvas and other materials, but mostly paper. Okay. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
And wood.
Right. Did you use the wood shop here much?
Or? Yeah. I really would love to get back here at some point. Just, it's like pretty far from, 20 minutes, but it feels far. Yeah. But I'd like to get back here because, the Fab Lab is amazing. Yeah. I made everything there. Yeah. Everything. That one.
What about that one?
Not that one. That's a garage piece. Okay. Yeah, garage. Anything that's these. But then these, I cut out so many from that I'm still making them. So I have so many laser cut pieces that I can still manage to scrap together enough pieces to still make a few every once in a while in my garage.
Nice.
But I'm running out of material.
Right. Well, that's you really got to come back then.
That one. Oh, so this was my like first attempt at trying to like get a little painting, cool. 2D, 3D combination, kind of figural, kind of like could be lungs or in between the legs.
I saw lungs, but
lungs or I don't know, or vase. I don't know, just kind of getting and I might want to try to do more like this, that like have the portal within some kind of imagery, larger imagery. I get really intimidated, like the white canvas, like what is the image gonna be? Like, I don't know, it's still, I'm thinking maybe collage might be I'm not sure. I feel like I want to try something completely different, but I'm not exactly sure what. I also kind of want to make bathing suits that look just like this.
In general?
Like, no, that have this like print, like the dioramas.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like, because I did face masks during COVID. And
nice.
Those were kind of fun. And I saw some people wearing them around and I was like, oh, cool. Like, that would be so cool if I went to the beach and someone was wearing a portal on their torso. That would combine bodies and art. And I don't know. Something like, I think some type of clothing or wearable art. I've dabbled in that area, but like maybe more into that could be fun.
Okay.
See.
I don't know if I'm not going to, but I really just want to poke the inside of that. It looks like so.
It's paper. You could carefully.
Can I?
It,
okay, I'll be very careful because it just looks like.
I know it kind of looks like metal.
Yeah, it just I don't know, something about it. I just wanted to poke.
I let you.
That's very cool. Thank you.
I don't let my daughters.
Well,
they're not.
I'm slightly older than 1 and 3. Did you have anything else you want to show? One more? Did you want me to get that?
Yeah, that'd be great. So I don't mess up your camera.
No, it'll be fine.
I also have photos. It might be easier to edit that in later.
Nah, it's fine.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah, this is the vibe we're going for. It's like, look what I got.
Look at this crazy guy.
It's basically it's show and tell.
Okay.
Can you lower it a little bit because you can't see the top?
Oh
yeah, perfect.
I feel like I'm in show and tell right now.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. Now that you've shown it, you don't have to like hold it up if it's too unwieldy. But now we've seen the glorious whatever that is.
Yeah, I don't know. This was kind of fun. So this is what I mean when like I'm making art out of my scraps. So like the dioramas. Actually, no, got that backwards. The dioramas, the shapes from those are made out of close-up pictures of these sculptures that were reflected. That's how I got those cave-like shapes.
Oh, that's
cool.
No,
I forgot that. That's how it started. And these shapes I got because I didn't want to waste a single piece of paper, so it had to be a shape that I could use both sides.
Oh, I see.
So these are all reflective shapes.
Right.
So there's a lot of reflection happening. And then I took photos and reflected that to make the different shapes that made that up. And then those negative pieces, I don't have an example, but those negative pieces can make other sculptures that are way more symmetrical looking because they're like negatives of these very symmetrical shapes. So they're sculptural, but very like all of these pieces are actually mirror image, if that makes sense.
It doesn't, but I'm very interested.
Just like very different. And the colors are more experimental because, I don't know, when I do a bunch of things with the laser cutter and then I'm able to just like mix and match, I just get way more like experimental with color and have more fun with it. But yeah, actually this was the first iteration of the paper art.
Okay.
And you can see prints like intaglio prints, digital prints in here.
Can I touch it?
And these are like from.
Whoa.
Yeah, I actually almost sold it at Open Studios and then I like backed out because I was like,
no, I need this one.
These are prints from my friends. And I don't want it. And I was like,
fair.
Whoa, weird. Someone wanted to buy it. And I was like, I don't know. It was really cool though to be like, whoa, I can make weird stuff.
People like it.
People like still want to buy it. Like maybe I should just really
be weird.
I'm like, you want this thing?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's pretty weird. I don't know. But yeah, I made a couple sculptures like this, like 5. This is the last one, so I was like, maybe I'll keep it.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of start from like a doodle in my sketchbook of just like kind of weird shapes that feel enveloping. So kind of that portal feeling or some kind of emergence, just that kind of, I don't know, feeling of an organ maybe, or like, I don't know, like a spirit.
Yeah.
Just a lot, they all have that kind of,
yeah.
I don't know.
No, I love it. The hand motion is spot on. If you asked me to describe this, I don't know what I'd say other than maybe like a pretzel mixed with a mustache.
Yeah,
It's,
nice.
It's like,
I've got ovaries, abominable snowman. What else? A heart. I'm saying on heart.
oh, it does kind of look like an
clitoris,
upside down heart.
someone said. I don't know. Like it could. Some people
If you
see it
squint,
entwined legs.
Yeah.
I don't know. Different things.
Could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's part of the fun. Is you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like a Rorschach test.
Yes. Yeah. So that's kind of fun. Like I don't know what other people are gonna get out of it. This is kind of what I'm thinking, but
Okay.
yeah.
Nice.
Made it through to the other side of the art journey.
Yeah. No, that was great. Thank you for bringing so many cool pieces. That was cool. And seeing the relationship between all of them, especially hearing you talk earlier about interest in scrap and reuse, and we talked about sort of the blank page problems.
I hate the blank page
really
problem.
like that.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Like I've been doing kind of portraiture and it's just like, oh, the white paper. And then it makes me so hesitant. So they're all such nervous little portraits. Like, okay, we'll just leave it at pencil. I'm too afraid to like paint it in because I'm like, oh, what if I mess it up? And so they're all the kind of portraiture and I'm doing is like really simple. And I need to figure out a way to just loosen up with it. And like I do with this. And I think, if you just keep doing it, it'll happen. Yeah. I'm going to get those bodies in there. Whether I'm drawing them or like more performance art or clothing. I don't know.
Or it could be a combination.
Of it all. Yeah, collaging my own photographs or, I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, cool.
I'm not sure.
Nice. Well, we've been going for well over an hour.
Oh my God, we're good.
Which is great. I'd talk here all day. But we are caught up to present.
Okay.
So I was wondering if you wanted to do a little self-plug to anyone watching.
Sure.
Where can people find you and see more?
I have a website that I'm really bad at updating, but it'll give you an idea of my past for sure.
Okay.
So www.daniellepeters.com.
Okay.
And there's also a link to my newer, talked about that. My newer photography that I'm doing.
Right.
I'm interested in taking maternity and newborn pictures for people. So I do that.
Okay.
I'm really bad at advertising that.
Okay.
But I can do that.
Okay.
And I want to.
Yeah.
And mostly because I would love to use, I'm really nervous about source material. So I'm like interested in collage, but I'm like, I don't want to just take it from a magazine. So I'm like, I'm interested in making my own library of imagery. And so like, if you, especially if you don't mind, I mean, of course there's releases. So if you wouldn't want me to share your photos, I wouldn't, but if you released your photos, I could maybe use them in my art someday. Yeah. So that could be cool to be like in artwork. Your maternity or newborn or family portraits could end up in my art. I think that would be exciting if it were me, but some people might not be too keen on that. But I've been doing that and it's been really fun. There's a link to that on my website. It's kind of like art photography.
Okay.
Nice. And then I have 2 Instagrams. One is kind of personal. It used to be all art and now it's more babies.
Now it's a
but
chillin'.
You can still look art. There's art in there.
You scroll down there.
Yep. And that's Danielle_N Peters. And then we have the photography is Danielle_Peters_photography. And then I do have the Art Cave Instagram still. And I love it.
You?
Yeah. It's still, I just love it. It's more like an album that I look through all the time. Like, oh, my art friends. And I love that show. Yeah. And that's the Art Cave _SC, Santa Cruz. Okay. And that's really fun to look at because there's amazing artists on it. I wish I could like just name drop them all because they're just so amazing. But if you want to see really cool artists from all over, but especially Santa Cruz, if you scroll through the Art Cave Instagram, you'll see like really amazing art. Okay. From people that we got to show here. Yeah.
And all these links will be in the description, so go click on that.
Yeah.
If you don't want to try to remember.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many favorite artists. Like, I don't know. I just want to list them off now, but
You just want to name every
can I
artist
name
in
some
Santa
of them?
Cruz?
No, I won't.
If you want, well, we might be here a long time.
I'll just name two.
Okay, two.
Kaya Koopman. You guys, I don't know. She has like a huge mural on Village Yoga. She's really
okay.
cool.
Nice.
And then Nancy Tobin. She's like so bizarre. Not Santa Cruz, but
Okay.
where's she from? Oh my gosh.
How dare you plug not Santa Cruz? No, I'm
I
just
know.
kidding.
But she makes bizarre, such cool stuff out of like, I don't know, just found material. She has an antique shop, so then she'll make art out of just all the things.
Okay.
And it can be wearable or wall mounts or an
That sounds
installation
cool.
in the middle of the road. Like she does installations
Okay.
in like the weirdest places and like they're just beautiful. Like it's bizarre. Like Nancy Tobin is my like dream artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm kind of embarrassed. She's gonna be like, oh my God.
Well, I'll send you the link. You can send her
All
the
me
link.
and my like art friends are like,
Yeah.
look what she did now.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's like so, or she's like very humble. Like she came to like an artist talk we had at the art cave, and she was just like, I don't know. She's just like one of those quiet people, and you're like, you do amazing things.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite kind of artist, the ones that are like,
I don't know. Yeah.
it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but
pretty funny.
yeah. So I think it's really fun to scroll through that Instagram. But
Yeah.
that might be just
Yeah.
a personal thing.
I mean, I'm gonna do it later.
should
I'm
do
not gonna lie. Especially when I'm typing it in the
Yeah.
description,
Yep.
I'll be like,
I'll check
just
it out.
look at it
Yeah.
3 hours later.
But we like tried to make something go through COVID where I just show their like artist work from their studios. So
Oh yeah.
which is cool too, but if you scroll down more, then there's more of like the gallery shows that we had in this exact space. So you could see
Yeah.
how this space has like transformed through the years.
Yeah.
Which is really
People
fun to
have
do
only,
too.
only seen the podcast episodes
Yes.
will be like, oh, there's more than this wall.
It's a
thing.
really large space.
Yeah,
it
it's-
is
it's
one of my
very
favorite
large.
spaces in Santa Cruz. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've had a lot of history here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's great being back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, definitely you gotta, figure out who you can foist your children upon and then,
Yes.
come here instead.
I know,
Or
or
just
like
bring
maybe
them.
I know maybe they'll be old enough to eventually laser
Yeah.
cut with me. That would be really fun.
Yeah. When I was talking to Jordan today, he's like, yeah, Dana's super cool. You'll have a great time. She might be bringing her kid. I don't actually know.
That would have been really hectic.
And I was like, we'll
Oh
figure
my
it out,
God.
I guess.
Maybe my 3-year-old could manage, maybe. But my
Maybe.
1-year-old would just be like, can we breastfeed for the next hour and a half?
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh God, please.
I'd be like, that's fine. We're just going to blur the bottom half of the screen whenever it's showing.
She's like a Velcro baby.
Oh, yeah.
That's another reason it's like so much love, which
Yeah.
is the best feeling in the world. But I
Yeah.
also like, I can't get anything
But
done.
you're like, this is too much love. It's great.
No, it's not too much. It's
Yeah.
just, I'm not going to be doing other things for a while.
Right. Yeah.
But I love it. I have any feeling you've ever had or angst when you were a teenager of like, no one loves me, like all of that, just it's gone
You're
right
like,
now.
well, this
Yeah.
small thing clinging to me clearly loves me.
Yes,
I
exactly.
don't think it has any other feelings.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm gonna take it while I got it. The best quote I ever heard was like, young children like grow up like you are only a parent of a young child for like a short amount of time. You can be an artist into your old age. So
Right.
don't worry if like your art slows down for a moment in time. Like
Yeah.
it'll be back. And so that's like the mantra in my head is like, it'll come back. It'll come back. Like, don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. That's good to. It's funny. I was gonna ask if you had any like final wisdom, but I think
That was
that's
it.
the final
I
wisdom.
think I got that from like
Right
the
there.
Artist Mother podcast. Yeah.
Nice. I
Because
thought,
that
yeah.
makes sense.
yeah. There you go.
That's what I listen to these
Yeah.
days.
Okay. Great.
What do you have any words of wisdom for me?
No, I feel like I've learned so much interesting stuff about you, and I'm just like, I'm just some guy.
But you just came back from Japan.
I did just come back from Japan, but they don't
What
know
did
that.
you learn there?
I mean, they do know now.
I know now.
Yeah. Cut this out.
Sorry. Okay.
No.
Secret. Top secret.
No. I mean, the things that I just. Okay, sure. I'll have a word of wisdom. We
Okay.
haven't done this on any of the podcasts
Okay.
yet.
I like this.
I went during the time I did specifically to see the cherry blossoms bloom. But the week before I got there was a cold snap, so they weren't in bloom, and they're blooming this week instead.
Oh.
And there is, I think, a life lesson in just accepting that you can have a plan, you can do everything right, and you can go and things don't work out like you planned. But I still had an amazing time, and it was very exciting towards the end of the trip seeing the first of the blooms starting to come. So like, okay, well, things didn't come on my time frame, but it is still going to come, and it's going to be beautiful for the people who are here. So
but beautiful. It's like things will happen, maybe not as you planned. Beautiful things will happen. All the things will happen. Life will happen. Oh.
All right. Well,
I like it.
Well, thanks so much for being on. Thanks everybody for watching. See you next time.